Good morning. Most of the time when I make my video, you'll probably see me wearing a tie or a bow tie. But this video is not for everyone. This is a video that I'm making for my good friend and President Joe Biden. Joe, I voted for you, even though I'm a Republican. I'm not just any Republican. I'm a neocon. I'm a small government, not taxing the rich. I'm for all of that. But I voted for you. If Jeb Bush was the candidate in the last election in front of you, there's no way I was going to vote for you. But this idiot, Donald Trump, he's not a Republican. He's not American. This fake, phony fraud, we had to get rid of him. So I voted for you. And I'm happy of the work that you're doing, especially with the vaccine. And those people who don't want to be vaccinated, I wish I could put my foot up their ass because they're a bunch of idiots. Because the vaccine worked, the notion that you're coming out because Fox News or Donald Trump agree that you shouldn't be vaccinated, if you was working for me or if you anybody, they should be fired. And I think Joe is doing the right thing. I'm not just talking about this. My own sister died of COVID. And it was at least a month before she died. Damn, big guy like me should not be going to this. But let me say this to you. My sister, I called her and I told her to get the vaccine. And she said, no, she's not getting the vaccine. She don't know what's in it because her friends are telling her and she's being influenced. I'm in the middle of a conversation with my sister. Her son picked up the phone and he told me, listen, you don't know what's in the vaccine. What do you want her to get a vaccine for? As long as I'm alive, she's not going to get no vaccine. Over my dead body, because you don't know what's in the vaccine. I said, oh, he yelled at me. So I didn't want to start a big fight with him. Okay, I let it go. It must have been like a month later. Because my sister's excuse was, I don't go. She was like, I don't go anywhere. I'm not gonna get no COVID. I stay home. But that boy who got on the phone and who was yelling at me, he goes to work every day. He's always out. So he catch the COVID and he give it to his mother. So before I know it, I received a call that not only my sister got COVID, but that little idiot who was on the phone, who was yelling at me, he got it and he gave it to her. So at one point they were both in the hospital. And when I called my sister in the hospital, she was telling me how she loved me. And I know she felt bad because she remembered what I told her. And it didn't take that long after that, she died. And I remember in the funeral, I was so pissed. I wanted to kick all their asses, him and her. And then he got the nerve, even though I say, listen, man, as far as I'm concerned, you are dead to me. He want to talk to me. He want to force me to talk to him. I'm not going to do that because you killed my sister. And I see, and I hope this is a lesson for a lot of people who's watching this, my conversation with Joe Biden this morning. Okay? People who don't take the vaccine, I don't care. Okay, you're still around. Everything is working. But what's going to happen 6 months from now, 7 months from now? You're being influenced by idiots. So you listening to Trump, but Trump already got the vaccine. He got everything they got going. And he bought stock on all the companies that are selling the vaccine. So he's not only is a customer, he's an owner of those companies. And as a Republican, I feel bad to see other Republicans doing that. Okay, Joe, my real conversation, the reason I'm talking to you today, I'm a Haitian American. I've been in this country since I was 16. So basically, I live in Haiti for 16 years, and I've been in the US for 47 years. I hope the numbers are right, because I'm 64. Okay, my reason for calling you is about Haiti. I love, like I told you, I'm a Republican. I voted yesterday, Friday, for Murphy, our Republican, our Democrat mayor, governor of New Jersey. I vote in every election. I love vote. I love democracy. I'm a capitalist to the max. But I wanted to tell you that as far as Haiti is concerned, democracy is not working in Haiti. Word up, it's not working. And soon they're gonna force your hand, and you're gonna have to send the Marine, the Delta Force, and every kind of military operation to rescue those 17 hostages being held by those gangs that are exing $17 million. How did Haiti get like this? The United States fault. And that's what my conversation to you is all about. Because Stevie Wonder could see that democracy is not working in Haiti. February 7, 1986, the day that Jean Claude Duvalier left Haiti, been the beginning of the end of Haiti. Who got rid of him? The United States of America. Because they feel that Jean Claude, it was time for Jean Claude to go. He was a dictator and the country needed democracy. But it's been 35 years. If you compare those 29 years of Jean Claude to the 35 years after Jean Claude, Haiti right now is in a shithole. And it's there because of the United States policy. We had a good thing going. I was born in 1957 and I left there in 1973. Haiti was a paradise. Duvalier, as much as you guys was calling him a dictator and you had all your problem with him, was a good president. But nobody knew that because they never had something to compare it with. But 35 years later, 2021, it's obvious. Because here you are again, you're going to have to send troops to rescue hostages because the country is in the hand of bandits, of gangs, gangsters. $17 million they're asking for. You think if Duvalier was there, let's be honest, that problem, you would have that problem? You would have to send troops? And ever since they left, how many times the U.S. had to intervene in Haiti? Of course you had to intervene because you created the problem, guys. And Joe, you was part of that problem because you've been in that Congress. You wasn't president, but you was part of the Congress with the Democrats and you all that time. So some of that responsibility you be it. It was, that's how it is. So, how do we solve it? Democracy right now gonna have to be put on hold. And listen to me. Azandame, écoutez-moi, tandem. Democracy gonna have to be put on hold. Let me give you an example. You remember what happened when Russia, during the Bush administration, after the breakup of the Soviet Union, and the Russians were trying to have a democracy? How chaotic that place was? It was chaos. Until those people realized that it wasn't working. It was crime everywhere. It was like Haiti is today. Until they made a decision and they bring in Vladimir Putin. And ever since he's been there, there's no problem over there. Now, I don't care, because as an American, I know a lot of people would be, most Americans cannot agree with what I'm saying, even though it's true. Because America is the one walking around and handing up democracy to everybody. But my friend, Haiti don't need that. And democracy is killing Haiti. Now, I don't know, and I know how many U.S. presidents since 1986. Bill Clinton did his best. He tried. He even went over there. Okay, Obama. Okay, Bush father. Reagan. Still, every time you turn around, you had to send troops to Haiti. So, wait a minute. So you guys, is it that difficult for you to realize that the problem with Haiti is that stupid democracy? You cannot have a democracy in a place where the people are illiterate. I wanted to explain this to you guys, to all you geniuses in Washington who's making those stupid decisions. When you have a country where about 70% of the people are illiterate, unemployed, you cannot have democracy, because it's not going to work. They spend $50 million every 4 years to have an election. And they elect garbage. They either come up with some musician, some Catholic priest, some guy who's a banana farmer. And right now they're about to elect another 50 million. And they're going to put Usi Kanzo, the wife of the former president. She already got a foot in. She's already in. If you have an election today or next week or 6 months from now. Because the same people that elected her husband, who was the most incompetent individual who ever. When I say incompetent, it wasn't like because the guy don't know how to read and write, because we had a president like Antoine Simon who was supposed to be illiterate or whatever, but he was a good president. This guy, he wasn't. He just was busy. It's like an unemployed mechanic, and you put him, and he was looking for a job, and you have a bunch of people who don't understand democracy, and they voted him in because he's a black guy, because he's talking their language, and they put him in. But he got no concept of managing a country, because he was looking for a job, and he got his job. So now he's busy trying to explain to everybody that he's going to give them electricity. And this guy was so obsessed about electricity 24 hours, when the real problem of Haiti is jobs. And For the past 35 years, all the presidents who were elected in Haiti, not one of them even talk about we need job. And I'm sitting here in New York, in New Jersey, in the United States, and I'm looking at all these Haitians living in Haiti, coming looking for a job. You recently had a bunch of Haitians coming from South America here in the border of Texas, trying to get here. They wasn't coming here for nothing but looking for a job. I mean, you don't need a freaking, you don't have to be a genius to figure that out. Okay, so what is the solution? You need to put a pause. Those $50 million that it costs to have those stupid elections, because those elections, they're not working. Because you have another election right now in Haiti, you're going to have another idiot. Like I said, that lady, she's going to be president. Because of sympathy. Not because she's qualified. It's because that her husband was killed or committed suicide, because that's what I call it. The only reason the last Haitian president was assassinated is because he was incompetent. And it was his fault. Yes, I said it. Because I have more fact in my hand than most people. I know better. Okay? So Joe, listen to me. My brother Pam. I'm right here in South Jersey. You live in Delaware. Just like Sarah Palin said, I could see your house from my window here. Okay? So we neighbors. The problem of Haiti, if you want to solve it, give me a call. Because I have the people in the ground who could fix Haiti. There's parliamentary election, those senators, those guys, as soon as you have an election, it's like a bunch of guys looking for a job, and they're going to come there, and they're going to be elected, and all they're going to do is steal money and put it in their pocket. They don't even think about the people. Haiti need right now about 4 million jobs to start. Even if you could create 2 million jobs. I have the white paper. I wrote the whole thing down already. I have my plan. For this country. It's my country. Even though I live here for 40, I spent 47 more years more here in the United States as an American, a very proud American. I love democracy. And I hate Donald Trump because of what he tried to do on January 6th, trying to destroy democracy in this country. But at the same time, my homeland where I was born, I'll be the first one to tell you, democracy is killing it. It's not ready for no democracy. Just like Russia, that country need a strong man. I think I'm that strong man. Because my plan, you know what my plan is about, Joe? My plan is about turning Haiti into exactly, let's say, a state, or maybe a clone of the United States. That means I have to go over there and have an industrial revolution, just like the US did, with developing the railroad, metallurgy, technology to bring it to where it is. Those 8 million jobs that I'm telling you about, the day Haiti have 8 million jobs, what's going to happen is people going to be leaving the US and going to work there. People like me, people in the diaspora, people from Suriname, Trinidad, other country, because you're going to have so much job in there that the country going to be open so people from other country could come and work there. So then you're not going to have a problem with 50,000 Haitian or 20,000 Haitian at your border, at your southern border. I'm not asking you to put me in charge of Haiti. I could do that. But what I'm telling you is, I have the solution. And I have my plan to do that. I don't need the help of the United States to take charge. I'm not trying to help you to help me give a coup d'etat. I don't need you for that. At the same time, if I go over there and I have an army, because my country needs an army, your embassy is not going to tell me what to do. Because the last president wanted an army. And you guys, your embassy, the U.S. embassy told them, no, you cannot arm the army, even though he started it, an army, even though he was incompetent. But he figured that this country needed an army. But you guys stopped them. What I'm saying to you is, as an American, 47 years in this country, is it 47 from 73 to now? Alexa, what is 2001 minus 1973?
2001 minus 1973 is 28.
Oh God, I got it wrong. So 28? No. Alexa, what is 2021 minus 1973?
2021 minus 1973 is 48.
Okay, there we go. I'm getting old. I've been here for 48 years. Most of your police officers, you got guys in the Congress, they haven't been here for 48 years. And even if they're 48, that means they were baby 48 years ago. I was already 16 years old. So I know this country better than them, the United States. I want to make Haiti a clone of the United States. That means I'll use the U.S. Constitution and get rid of that stupid Constitution they have over there. I'll have a setup of government style similar to the one we have here. That's what I'm talking about when I'm going to say a clone. Okay? That means I'm going to compete with all the U.S. states like New York, California, Texas, because I'm going to open my door to U.S. companies and I'm going to offer them tax break they never had before. Anywhere in the world. I don't care if you're a bank, whatever you are. You come there and you help me put 8 million jobs in Haiti. I'll build you a factory. Tesla, you listening? I'll build you a Tesla battery factory. I'll build you a factory where you could make cars. I'll give you a port. I'll even invest in that factory, and I'll give you like 10 years tax free. So you could make your cars cheaper, up to like 30% cheaper than if it would cost you to make it in the US. But I would reach my goal to create the 8 million jobs. Ford, if you're listening, General Motors, General Electric, Microsoft. Only an American could talk like that. But you have here a Haitian American who understand business, who understand the stock market, who understand who's an entrepreneur, who understand all of that. The politic part, democracy is a good thing. My people are not ready for it right now. Because let me explain you something the way it is right now. It's like when you spend $50 million to have an election in Haiti, only the illiterate people go out there to vote. The lawyers, the doctors, the members of the press, you could go over there. I'm sure that you could pick up the phone. Ask your CIA people over there. Ask the people in the embassy. They'll tell you that what I'm saying here, Joe, is true. Okay? They don't vote. Members of the press, they don't vote. People don't come out to vote because the gangsters going to be out there trying to force people not to vote. So that last president in a country of about 11 million people, even though they probably think it's 10 million or 9 million, It's only 10% of the population who participated in the last election. So 1.2 million people went to vote, and the president was only elected with 58%, or around 700,000 votes. You call this is democracy? For real? You think this is working? If this happened in the US, Trump would be the president right now. He probably would be president for life with his stupid self. Okay? But, and I don't care. It's not working. And I'm the guy who vote. I vote on every election here. I love to vote. But I'm telling you right now, stop the vote. It's not working. Because you're just going to elect a bunch of idiots. I love President Clinton. Okay, if you're listening, you tell Joe if I'm lying. Because you know Haiti probably better than me. And I don't care if people accuse you of stealing land, gold, and things that don't belong there or that they don't have. In my book, you did a good job. President Clinton and his wife. And me saying that, gonna put a whole lot of Haitian pissed off, and because they all repeat, they don't know as much as I do. Because they just monkey see, monkey do. Somebody say something stupid, everybody is repeating it. Okay, but he knows Haiti better than me. Ask him. We did try it for the 29 years of Duvalier. There never was an American intervention. Never. Why is that? Economically, the country was better. And what they did was, the diaspora that you have here who's in the US, and so many of them work for NYPD, Miami PD, Chicago PD, Boston PD, and who work in NASA, who work in all these Haitian in the press, and some of them in the White House. They are a product of that period, that dictatorship that you guys remove. Because if it wasn't for Duvalier, there wouldn't be a diaspora. Most people gonna reject it because they don't know as much as I do. Because they just be feeding themselves the stupid lies. But the result is the way Haiti is today, in the way it was, because there's no way you're going to tell me 17 Americans be kidnapped if Papa Doc or Jean Claude was there right now. Now tell me I'm wrong. Why is that? And those 17 who are kidnapped right now, because American people, just like you see a bunch of idiots don't want to take the vaccine, just wait. They're going to go, you're going to sell the Delta Force, there's another one. The guys who killed Bin Laden, the Navy SEAL, the Marines. They always love the Marines. Love Haiti because they've been there so many times. They created the Haitian Army. Most of the time, operation in Haiti, the Marine be like, "Yo, that's my territory. That's my baby. I'm coming there first." Okay, they're gonna go there. They're gonna rescue those 17, and then they're gonna be another 17, just like those vaccine guys are gonna say, "What happened? They got them out. Oh, now it's time for me to go over there because I've never been kidnapped before. Because I know my American people. I deal with them every day." They're gonna be another 20 who's gonna, as soon as they remove those first 17, they're gonna be another 20 missionaries who's gonna say, "I'm doing God work, and God tell me to go to Haiti and get my ass kidnapped again because I've never been kidnapped before." And then you're going to go right back again, and it's going to keep doing that. And then you're going to have an election, and the president, those gangs in Haiti, the proliferation of gangs in Haiti is after the departure of Jean Claude Duvalier for the past 35 years. And they are a product of democracy in Haiti. Because if you didn't have democracy, you wouldn't have gangs. They are a product of technology. This is what you have. People are kidnapping people. Why are they doing it? Because they don't have a job. They're not working. Okay? In the police in Haiti, you don't know when the police end and the gangs begin, because they all one. They're in bed. So Joe, I'm not gonna make it too long. Remember what I said. If you want to fix the problem of Haiti, give me a call. Because Haiti, the problem of Haiti start by, first of all, with the plan that I have. That means you're gonna create job by turning the majority of those people that are in the street that are not working into consumers. How do you do that? I would personally open the door, because geographically, Haiti's in a good location. Let's talk business now. Because as a businessman, I'm a capitalist. There's no better capitalist than me. Business-wise, any company, if I was in charge of a place like that, who wanted to do business, okay, I would build a waterfront. I would make Port-au-Prince the Miami of the Caribbean. The waterfront, the slums, I would turn them into condominiums. We would have industrial parks. I would go after companies like Grumman's, company not just American, Yamaha, Bose, Mercedes-Benz. Listen, you want to come there? When I'm there, I give you 10 years. I give you a tax break that you never heard of. Because that's the only way I could employ at least 4 million people in that country. I have to open it to people anywhere around the world, textile. Because if you take a map right now and look at where Haiti is situated, if you want a building that you're going to send to all those 47 countries of Latin America, there's no better place. This is the land where, okay, the first European landed, right there, Haiti. Next door, Haiti have an advantage that no other country in the Caribbean has, because we share the island of Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic. And believe me, if you go with my society plan, those two countries, they would not just be equal. I could turn Haiti into even a bigger economic power than the Dominican Republic. I'm sorry, you guys, you know I love you very much. But I could turn this country, because you know why? I have the cheap labor to begin with. And I have the land just like you do, but you already have a system. Me, I could look at what you have and now building one that is better, because I would be in that position. And this is the advantage. So you have the location, you have a mini, it's like a micro continent. You're not talking about just one country, you're talking about two countries. You're talking about a land of about 25 million people on both, between when you combine the two together. And believe me, a Haitian government, the Haiti that I would like to build, it would be the relationship that you see between the United States and Canada. It's like, even when you cross the border, you don't know where you at. You don't know if you in Canada or if you're in the United States. Even though they are two independent countries. Okay? We would have ports, more ports, banks, more banks. That means I would open this country to the point where I have islands that are like Lago Nav and those places. I would develop them to the point where I would open them where people, instead of taking your money to the Cayman Island, to Singapore, you would come to Haiti. Because those banks, those financial institutions, I would give them 20 years of tax break that they cannot get in Delaware, even though Delaware or many states in the United States. But I have to build an infrastructure. In order for me to do that, I would have to, because all of that is going to help me create this new society. Roads, highways, drinking water. This is 10 million people that just sitting there waiting for all that. But in order for you to do it, to begin with, you need jobs. And listen, I know this country, every 3 months, the government come out with a job report. How many new jobs? How many people unemployed? How many people going back to work? You see the way they do that? In Haiti, president come to are elected in the past 35 years. Not one of them ever talk about no jobs. And what they do, they create an atmosphere for the private businesses that are in that country that are creating the jobs. They just prosecute. They just go after them. They just make it impossible for them to live. Because every time you turn around, all these people that are unemployed, they're burning tires, they're walking in the street, they got no place to live. Okay? This is a country where you need to build houses for about at least 4 to 5 million people. You're talking about economic development. This is the plan, the economic plan that I have for Haiti. Would have a housing system where electricity and housing become one piece. So as you're creating those jobs, as those companies are moving in and they're hiring more people and they're paying the taxes necessary for the government to work, as a Republican, I would give you a government that is so small you could put it in your pocket. Okay? We have a government right now that is so inefficient that employ about 70,000 people. I would build a government over there right now with 40,000 people. As an IT guy, I would have the computers taking care of what to, in terms of, I would start with the tax system. Because right now, the government in Haiti, they're not getting no taxes from nobody. Nobody's paying taxes. Cars walking or driving around without license plate. There's a bunch of motor taxis. They got no, those things. With my government, there wouldn't be no motor taxis. But you know what you would have? You would have a public transportation just like you have here in Boston or in New Jersey or in New York. Because I would have a transit authority that would transport people back and forth by train and by buses. And the price would be so cheap. I would probably start just to put those guys out of business. Because I would want those motor taxis or those guys who creating traffic jam in the country to have a job in a factory so they could go to work. Because what they're doing right now is just making them poor. They're not making no money. A motor taxi is not making no money. I want to create a job. Those people you see in those market who's selling food, it's a deficit every day. I want to build factory where close those market. We have supermarket now where people could just go, okay? Because what happened is there would be somebody selling oranges. Okay, they have like maybe a farm of orange. Okay, they take those oranges, they put it in the thing and on their head, and then they go and sit in a market to sell it. When they go there, there's about like another probably 200 people selling the same thing. And now everybody's competing, trying to sell it cheaper. At the end of the day, many of them gonna end up those oranges, they're gonna get, because they're gonna reach their expiration point where all they're gonna have to do is throw it away. No, I'm gonna have a government that's gonna take care of those oranges. I'm gonna have factories where they make orange juice and they put those oranges as juice in the bottle and they sell them. So instead of these oranges being thrown away or thrown, those oranges, they could last 6-7 months in the bottle and people could buy them. So you don't have to go to unsanitary street market to buy them. And the people who used to sell them, who would walk 20 kilometers to go in the public market to sell those things and to put those people to work in a factory. So you could have bodegas, you could have things like that. This is a society that needs to be built. And my plan is that plan. Even if I don't become president, even if I stay and I pick somebody, then mean I'm gonna stay behind somebody who's gonna execute a plan like the one I'm talking about. 8 million jobs. And you'll never have to worry about boat people going to Brazil, to Miami, to any of those places, Joe. You're not gonna have to worry about Haitian coming to your southern border anymore. But the only way we could do that together, my brother, we're gonna have to put a pause in democracy in Haiti. It's not working. Just like it did not work in Russia. And believe me, you could hate Vladimir Putin, you could say whatever you want with it. But look at the Russia of Vladimir Putin and compare it to the Russia of Boris Yeltsin or Gorbachev, when that country went capitalist with all the crime. Yes, they're going to be crime, but it's a different society. And this is the same situation, because I know what I'm saying here is so far-fetched. I think most people, especially American, and this is in English, are not able to understand where I'm coming from here. But if you listen to me, the biggest problem in Haiti is democracy. The most important part of democracy is election. To begin with, each election in Haiti will bring an individual who is not qualified, who's gonna drive this country down in the ditches. So let's stop the bleeding right now. My God, this is 44 minutes. Let me let it go a little bit more. I don't want to keep Joe, because I know Joe got a lot of work to do. But Joe, let me say this to you, my brother. I have a plan, if you want to hear it. You see the problem you're having with those hostages? You know the police in Haiti right now? The problem with taxes? Haiti could be self-sufficient with my plan. 44 minutes is not enough for me to explain it to you, even though I give you a little bit of this and that. Okay. Haiti could be fixed. And I have a solution. And not only that, I have a lot of people, intellectual, who are not getting involved right now. You know, right now in Haiti, people are afraid to call the police to report a crime. It's like all the gangs. There's a lot of people who know where they're at, but they're not going to call the police. Why? Because the police are working with the gangs. And they know if they tell them something, the police going to tell the gang who said it. So you could come over there and tell me you're going to have an election. The next president, it's going to still be like that. Because he's just another unemployed Haitian who just got himself a new job. Like Mrs. Jovenel right now, she's looking to become president because she's unemployed. And she was the first lady. She addicted to power. Just like Trump, he tried to be president again because he realized, whoa, is there anything better? I mean, the guy, and people elected him because he was a good businessman. You would think he would go and open a business. But with 6 bankruptcies, no way. But that's the same thing. In a country where so many people are unemployed, this is exactly my point. People are trying to become senators because they don't have a job, not because they want to fix Haiti. They want to be a representative. They want to have all these titles. This is nothing but another job for them to make some money. But it's not about doing what I'm talking about now, creating those 8 million jobs that this country needs. And the day that Haiti have 8 million jobs, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to be, because the 8 million people that are working, what's going to happen, they're going to be hiring, each one of them, we're going to be hiring at least 4 or 5 people. So then it's going to be at a point in a country of, 10 million people? It's going to be to the point where other people are going to have to come from other country to come and work there. Just like you see Dubai and all of that. And we got all the resources. We got the geographical. We got the good weather. We have everything to make this country the pearl of the Caribbean. Look at the Dominican Republic next door. We could do even better if everybody is working. And Joe, listen, thank you for listening. Think about it, because you're going to send the Delta Force, you're going to send the Marine, you're going to send the Navy SEAL, and it's not going to end. It's going to be more. The day this thing stop is the day that Haiti have the jobs. It's the day that my country is open, where companies, it could compete with states in the United States. And this is the Haiti that I have in my mind. That means if you have a company in a state where they're charging you too much tax, like in California and all these places, my country is going to be open for business. You could come there with your factory. You want to make chips? There's a chip shortage. Let's come make them over here. I'm going to give you the security you want in those gangs. They're going to be something that people would read about in the books. Because we're going to eradicate. The only reason they're here right now is because nobody's working. The government don't have the resources. Police are not getting paid. Ambulance drivers are not getting paid because they're not bringing in the taxes in the pocket of the government for it to operate and to actually give you the service. That's all it is. It's not like that complicated. Because if you have a government where nobody's paying taxes, you cannot make people pay you taxes. They got no gas. There's a gas shortage because the government got no money to buy gas. And the gangs right now, they control the area where the gas tanks are. And the government don't have the resources to push them out. You guys caused that. Because we had a leader. We had a government that was working. The United States decided to remove him. So Jean Claude left. And for 35 years, you were supposed to deliver a country that is better than the way it was during the 29 years of Jean Claude and his father. But you didn't do that. Okay? So let's not bullshit each other. I love America. But that did not happen. And right now, this place is in a situation where it's just sinking every minute. You see, I've been talking here for exactly 50 minutes. Believe me, it's already worse than it was when I started. Okay, Joe, I know you over there in Europe in an economic summit. When you come back, you're going to give the job report. You're going to talk about unemployment. Whoever's in charge in Haiti, never going to talk about unemployment. I'm talking about it. And the only reason Haitians are coming here is because they don't have jobs. I have the solution for that. Thank you for all the people who listened to my conversation with Joe. Thank you for your support. I want you to support Food for the Poor. They're doing a good job in Haiti. I also want many of you who watch my shows and my videos. I'm a Renaissance man. I'm the kind of guy who I got my hand everywhere. So I'm making a movie. It's about a preacher, a pastor's wife, who fall in love with his older son from a previous marriage. I wrote the screenplay and I wrote the story. If you could help me, look at my page on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, click on it, give me a little donation. You watch all my documentaries, you watch all my stuff. I'm not asking you for that much. Just give me $10. Okay? And it's so many of you, that $10 would add up more. So go look at my Twitter page or everywhere. It's everywhere. All right? If you don't want to give, I don't care. I still love you. But I'm going to beg you anyway. Word up. All right. Everybody have a nice day. Thank you for listening.